Hi, fellow tea lovers. Settle in, because we've got a story. I'm Nell.
And I'm Rose, and today we're bringing you the tea.
Across eras.
Hey, happy Monday.
Hey, brand new week.
It is. It's a new week. It is a new week.
We're getting closer to fall, and you can tell because my painting colors have gotten like a lot more autumnal. You can see over there on the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the purples and oranges are coming out. Got to go see the Pirate Viking Festival yesterday, and I bought a tiny ghost for the tiny library that I built last month. I have to show you later.
Cute. Her tiny library is one of those like bookend things that you build and then you have a scene inside it.
I would love to be cool enough to actually design my own. I'm kind of like hoarding bits and pieces for that eventual goal. I can't recommend the kits more highly. It was so fun and so relaxing. Just sit and build 48 tiny books and just tell me you're still stressed.
And you got this as a gift, if I recall. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm shopping for another one. We realized the other day a spider has set up shop in between the little
Oh.
music stand and the little fake telescope.
Oh,
Like it's getting ambiance. That's part of why I got it the ghost.
oh my goodness. That's kind of cute. I've seen them a lot on Etsy,
Mhm.
and I assume at least some of them might be handcrafted, which is cool.
Even if they came from a kit, that's a heck of a lot of work. And because I kind of just wanted to buy one for a little while, and I used to look at them and be like, you want $200 for that? But after spending a month building one, I'm like, yeah, I would charge $200 for that. And mine's not even that good.
If I was going to get a pre-made one, I would want it like very custom.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then, yes, it would be worth the money.
I'm looking at one now that I love the street scenes. They have little alleyways
Yes.
because I love the idea of there being like a pocket alley in your bookcase.
Yes. I like building Legos, and I actually have 4 sets that I haven't started yet. But I gave myself like a big pep talk this weekend, a mental pep talk about routines in my life, and I need to get back on a routine.
Oh, I feel that.
I've worked from home for more than 5 years.
Routines are a little bit harder to establish when you have more control over your environment. It's not a thing that you necessarily know to adjust.
Yeah, eventually you figure it out. And routines are good for people. I love having routines, so I'm going to work on those. Also, I've been rewatching TV shows, and I rewatched the first 2 seasons of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So after that, ugh. And then I decided to rewatch Supernatural, and I have rewatched episodes here and there, but I've been a fan since it like aired on TV back in the olden days.
I'm like, you're not rewatching all the time? I just sort of assumed. I mean, you're a super fan.
I think I'm a super fan in the way I think I'm a Swiftie. And then when people start talking about Easter eggs, my brain melts.
Yeah, no, then you run into the actual super fans, and I don't know, that's a little gatekeepy for my taste. Like, there are some crazy fans.
Yeah, those are called stans. Thank you, Eminem.
Ah.
I'm a huge fan in the way that I very much enjoy it. My rewatch of Supernatural is what inspired today's episode. It's funny to me to think, because Supernatural, if you don't know, the TV show, ran for 15 seasons, and fam, almost all of those seasons are like the old school long kind.
Yes.
Yeah, so you
when
got
commercial breaks were real.
Yeah, and you got like 20 plus episodes in a season.
Yeah.
It's funny though because it started so long ago, and they grew so much and technology changed so much during that time. Oh man, it kills me.
It's always weird to see how TV shows deal with technology change because for a very long time, they just ignored it most of the time.
Yeah.
And then texts, they're too ubiquitous to not have as part of a storyline.
Yeah.
And everybody handles it differently.
Yeah. Well, in this first season, they're still like going to physical libraries to look through physical records.
You know what? That's still useful.
No, it is useful. I'm just saying.
I know.
In later episodes, they incorporate a bit of, internet searches. They also inherit a house with lots of books. Or they don't really inherit it. It's more of a bunker than a house. But anyways, I digress. But before we get into any of that, things that have been on my mind. So first, how do you say this word? Is it pecan or pecan?
All right. Usually pecan, mostly because my grandpa was very fond of saying a pecan is what you keep under the bed, a pecan is what you put in a pie.
Well, okay. So when I lived in Alabama, our house was in a pecan orchard, and I say pecan. Okay, next. Route or root?
Root. Absolutely root.
Yeah, Route 66. Yep.
Yeah, that's the only way that sounds.
I agree. Caramel or caramel?
Oh, caramel if I'm feeling fancy, but it's not now. It's caramel.
Yeah. Okay, me too. I always call it caramel. Okay, this this one I threw in for fun because I might be getting this story wrong, but I believe that my daughter's coworker mispronounced it. Is it the Ramada Hotel or the Ramada Hotel?
Oh, Ramada. Oh, honey. Oh, she said Ramada, didn't she?
Yeah. And she knows how to say it.
Oh, no.
I think it was just one of those things. Okay. And if you need context for this next word, no problem. I can use it in a sentence. Is it boiled or bolt?
It's boiled, and you know what? It shouldn't refer to peanuts. That's unnatural, and you definitely shouldn't get them in a gas station.
I'm so insulted. So I have like 2.5 weeks before I'll be in the South for a little bit. And the minute my plane touches down in Georgia, get my rental car, I go eat at Big Daddy's Dish in College Park. It's like one of those meat and 3 veg kind of places. Oh, it's so good. We don't really have that in New Mexico.
Yeah, no.
And I know that they're wanting, I live in New Mexico, so people are like, oh, how do I give it this New Mexican flair? But I really don't want like a soul food restaurant that puts green chili in my cornbread.
No, we get that at home, thank you. We came here for variety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, when we were in DC visiting my parents once and we figured out that there was one single place in all of like Metro DC that had green chili, which was the Native American Museum Smithsonian.
Oh.
Yeah, which I wouldn't have looked for. I'm so glad somebody told us. We booked it straight there and had a green chili cheeseburger. So I guess I'm a little bit of a waffler.
Right. I mean, I understand that, but I don't know, man. Anywho, that's just my thing. So anyways, then I'll be driving out of Georgia on my way back to Auburn, and all I can think about is, does this like roadside gas station in the middle of nowhere look appropriately nerve-wracking enough that I believe there's a crock pot inside with Bolt peanuts?
No.
Stop that!
Sorry, I can't. The crock pot, it's just sitting there bubbling with evil.
Have you never had a chimichanga from Allsup's?
No, no, that's a lie. I've never had a chimichanga from Allsup's. I have had the breakfast burritos from the gas station.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
no.
mean,
and I have trunk burritos. Okay, all right, I'm no fool here.
At this age in my life, I don't eat chimichangas from Allsup's anymore.
I prefer trunk tamales, if I'm honest.
Oh my gosh, those are my favorite.
Always buy them.
But okay, so at a lot of gas stations in the South, they kind of are a little bit more like, you know how truck stops will have like food options?
Yeah. I mean, we buy the pizza slices. We know it's kind of dicey.
Well, at a lot of gas stations, I mean, we lived in very rural areas. And so a lot of the gas stations, you could stop in the morning and, you could get grits, biscuits, gravy, maybe some scrambled eggs, things like that.
Yeah.
That's some of the best food ever.
Anyway,
we digress.
Thanks.
Okay. This is another thing that's been on my mind. If I say this place has bars on the windows, do you think that's extra safe or extra scary?
It really depends on the context. If it is a really kind of crisp, well-maintained neighborhood that also has bars on the window, I would kind of assume that whoever was renovating or whoever was in charge of the security decisions was maybe a little bit paranoid. If the bars are in bad shape, if they've clearly taken a knock or two, that gives you a little bit more pause. But either way, I think I'd rather have them no matter what neighborhood I was in.
I agree.
I don't have bars on the windows here, but we do have the steel doors.
Yeah, I lean towards extra safe.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was that I saw, but there was something about like the only place I can afford to buy a house in is, a neighborhood with all the bars on the windows. And I was like, doesn't that just mean everyone's extra safe?
Right, you save money on the camera.
I mean, why?
It's about priorities.
At the same time, I say that like it's totally normal. And if anyone comes to me and they're like, Albuquerque's crazy, Albuquerque's wild, how do you live there? I will fight you.
Yeah, no, it is the best place in the world to live. And I come to that opinion from the position of somebody who has watched a very drunk magician do tricks on my lawn at 2 a.m. and then wander off into traffic and whip his cell phone at a car and get arrested. That's just
nice.
That's just cheaper cable.
I know. I think I freaked out my poor coworker on Friday. I don't even remember what they asked me, but I was like, that's so unsafe. Da da da. If someone's shooting you, hit the ground like this one. Remember where Lowe's was? Well, that used to be a strip mall and it had like a pool club or something and there was a rave there. And I was like 19 and a moron and somebody was shooting out the windows and we all hit the floor and she's just like, what? And I was like, oh, well, that wasn't as scary as this house party story. I mean, again, both stories are 2 times where I was places I had no business being.
Oh, yeah. The good advice remains. You're just passing along information.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember when a friend of ours came over and we introduced you as somebody that my husband had met at a previous job? And we were all just sitting there hanging out, and someone started telling the story of the time we were all outside the apartment on Central, and we watched someone try to break into a car and run off, and then the cops immediately came and were running after a different guy. And all of us that had been standing out at the park were like, no, 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 it's that guy, he didn't do anything. And so someone starts telling that story, and our friend who we had just introduced you to is like, that's where I know you. We witnessed crime, because he was there. We witnessed
that's
crime
right.
together.
Okay, listeners, what is this like a normal story to be telling?
See,
if you live in a city, is this and in a downtown location?
I think we know the answer to that. We know that Albuquerque is like a little bit of a brisk place, but it's a brisk place we love. And I don't think that we're alone in that. I don't think urban center issues are unique to any one place.
So speaking of Albuquerque, if I say, are you going to get down from there? What do I mean? Are you going to get down?
Okay, so 2 contexts. If there's a kid involved, they're just climbing something stupid. If there's an adult involved, maybe get down off your soapbox?
No.
Ooh.
But see, it's okay. I don't use this one either. I think it's a northern New Mexico thing.
I am from New Mexico.
You're right. Let's ask our big boss. She's also from there. So I have a friend, and I hear lots of people say it. They're talking about, like, are you going to get out of your vehicle? Are you going to get down?
Oh. Yeah, okay, all right, that tracks. There's many large vehicles.
And then as a New Mexican, if I say, do you want a Coke? What does that mean?
Whichever variety of carbonated beverage they're offering you, because Coke is ubiquitous. It's a descriptor.
It's a lowercase c, but it doesn't refer to the drug.
Yes, exactly.
It's the way the Yanks say, like, soda pop or whatever they say.
Yeah, like if you go a little bit further east, somebody will offer you a pop. It's the same thing.
That's so funny. Yeah, when someone says, do you want a Coke? I'm probably going to say no unless they're holding up, like, a glass bottle Mexican Coke. But I would be like, sure, what do you have? And then they would say, like, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, and Fanta.
You do not assume the thing being offered to you is branded Coke.
Exactly. Okay, and this one is just for my own fun, and then we'll move along. I'm going to start off easy for you. Finish the rap lyric.
All right.
Truth hurts. Needed something more exciting. New man on the... Oh, dang, this was the easy one.
Oh, no.
It's Lizzo.
Well, oh.
Minnesota Vikings.
Oh,
I knew
okay.
that.
See, that's hard without the rhythm behind it.
Oh my gosh, she wants me to sing?
No, it's just, or you're just rhythmized.
Okay. Okay.
No, never mind. You don't have to.
And this one, okay, so I picked that one because apparently the Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders now includes 2 men, and people are pressed.
Oh, man, good for them. Although it's going to be an uphill battle, gentlemen, but we applaud you.
They're all just jealous.
Exactly.
You're on the bottom of the Flyers? Amen. Okay, this one is a classic, and it was also recently in the news as someone did this over a city, maybe in Florida. I really can't remember recently. Even saw the lights of the Goodyear blimp, and it read...
Something pimp.
Ice Cube's a pimp.
Okay, I knew pimp was in there. I know rhyme scheme. And I have to say, all right, look, I am not a rap fan or a hip hop fan. I just happen to have experienced a lot of, like, I don't know, less poppy stuff.
Yes,
that
100%.
I truly appreciate. And so I don't necessarily know, like, the top Billboard.
Okay.
I do know Riz Ahmed or Riz MC is, like, probably one of my favorite poets in the world.
Right. So I was thinking that, and I was like, oh, I need to find, like, some European rapper. And so I am like, oh, Central C. And then I'm all, Rose doesn't know that one.
No, yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, she's I just watched a movie was called Y2K. I loved it. It was super cheesy. But yeah, there's a kid in there, and this is not you, but it's obviously set in 1999. And so there's this kid who's just like, why can't we all just speak a truth like the real MCs? But no, Rose isn't like that. Rose is always like, listen to this cool lady rapper, and then a year later, lady rapper blows up.
I have a fairly decent track record.
She does. She does.
And it's, I don't know, I love good lyricism, and I end up just letting YouTube autoplay a lot of times, and I have discovered more interesting things from just messing with the algorithm that I don't give an inch usually. That Sampa the Great is a beautiful artist. A lot of female artists end up not having the large marketing scheme behind them, and so like you have to look a little bit harder, but you find such beautiful things. Blue Boss is such a great song.
Nice. I get irritated with YouTube because I don't pay for it not to have commercials. And the commercials irritate me. Plus, because of my usual listening history, it'll be like, here's a really cool song, followed by, here's something off the top 40, because you listened to Manchild the other day. Okay, so speaking of lyricism, this is not a fill in the blank. If you knew this, I would be super shocked. But this is one of my favorite lyrics from a rap song. Her neck was smelling sweeter than a plate of yams with extra syrup.
Oh, well, that's just nice. That's just comfy sounding.
Outcast. All right, thank you for playing this game with me.
Absolutely.
My story today is just, I was thinking about creepy sleepover games.
I love that, because I don't know if they're as much a thing now, although I kind of assume they are. Children are creative and love gathering. But especially for us, the Bloody Marys and the Seven Doors and the watching of a scary movie, that was part of a sleepover. You know, you wanted to freak yourself out a little bit. You were already outside your comfort zone and you enjoyed it.
Yes.
You wanted to push that envelope a little bit. But they're very based in urban legends and regionality.
They are. And what I found was there's a lot of ones that are very similar that originated in different places. So they have like slightly different names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first I was like, when did a sleepover become common? Like at what point in history was someone like, Mom, I want to have my friends spend the night. I know that we live under this thatched roof and, feed them all
I'd
and
like
entertain
to
us.
experience Janie down the road's thatched roof, Mama.
Right, exactly. Because that kind of implies like kids have their own space. I mean,
and that's not really true for a lot of history.
Yeah.
It's a very modern concept.
It is. So it can be traced back to like the late 19th, early 20th century. And that was mostly what would be referred to for wealthier children as overnight gatherings or basically boarding schools.
Interesting.
And it was considered to be for social bonding and supervised games, and they were more formal than like Slumber Party, and they were supervised.
Yeah, well, and like we were talking about, I believe last episode, this is when you're starting to get the concept of a childhood separated from an adulthood.
Yes.
And the adults are going out for midnight balls and midnight suppers, and you have to plan for breakfast for everybody that sleeps over. So there's always a little bit of a precedent.
Yeah. Between like the 1920s and then into the 40s, I'm sure the Great Depression slowed down a lot of that in between.
Socializing in general.
Yeah. So as urban middle class life was expanding, kids, teenagers, their social lives ended up becoming more centralized around their homes and not so much in public spaces. Parents, around that time, you can find things showing where it was like, oh yeah, like same gender gatherings, girls sleepover, boys camping, like, I don't know, whatever people did back then.
Because I think it is probably a little bit more usual for the guys to get sent out into nature for their bonding.
Yes.
I'm sorry, some of us enjoyed camping on the lady side.
Between the 1940s and 50s, the words like sleepover and slumber party started appearing in magazines and parenting guides. Right?
Candy.
Yeah, it was like, this is how you socialize your kids. Teach them to play games. Games are good. They teach you like rules and fairness and all that stuff. You build friendships. And they would include activities you could do like board games, card games, storytelling, group entertainment like charades, always fashion shows.
I used to love finding those craft books and like party planning books from that era in the library.
Oh.
And I'd try and recreate things and just, no, well, you don't live in the same
My mom has
decade.
like this set of like, I don't know, 12 books. I think they're called something like Childcraft.
That
Like,
sounds dark.
no, they're not dark.
I'm kidding.
So, well, one of them was like poems, there was short story books, and there was like how to do crafts, and I always tried those and failed. One of the poem book had the poem, what is it, The Highwayman, with like the most ghostly green lady with like one of those big booby dresses.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I loved her with that rifle on her leg. Wow.
Oh man,
How appropriate.
the illustrations in ghost story books, they varied, but like Scholastic did a bunch of very, very cool compilations. And it has to be said, the original Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark artwork
I was thinking of those, yeah.
gave me chills. They still do.
The girl who gets the spider in her face and she thinks it's a zit, that drawing.
I still think about that when I break out. That story still runs through my mind.
The
Sleepovers are formative.
The toe in the soup.
Yes. I want my toe.
In the 60s and 70s, slumber parties were like this iconic part of teen culture. I mean, and I'm talking about the United States right here. So you would see it in TV shows and movies and magazines, and you'd be like, you and all your friends watching TV and movies and snacks and candy, and then playing games, and eventually board games moves to like Truth or Dare, Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, Bloody Mary.
And I think those are the things you get up to when the parents have gone to bed.
Absolutely. And then the ghost stories, And so because it was seen in pop culture, this basically just reinforced a sleepover or a slumber party as like a rite of passage.
Social expectations, it's the same story as the Gilded Age cotillion, it's just in a different box.
Yep. I came across a, I don't know, Instagram reel the other day, and it was a lady showing like a custom setup someone had ordered. This was her business for a slumber party, and she was like showing a breakdown and what she charged. I mean, I'm glad that didn't exist that I knew of when my kid was little, because things were cheaper back then, and I spent all the money on that. Well, she's my only kid. Of course I did. But it was really cool. I mean, obviously it was like more like something I would see on like some celebrities' kids' Instagram, but it was cool. I liked it. By the 80s and 90s, slumber parties were shown to me like a girl thing. Girls have sleepovers. And I didn't do any research on this, but I'm assuming boys were having campouts or whatever. I don't know.
Guys did, but it was always like you had to be doing something, and this is from an observer's perspective, but it would be like all the guys you knew were getting together to watch a movie and sleep over or something. It was never like sleepover.
Yeah.
It's funny because it never really occurred to me that was gendered.
Me neither.
Because that was just normal when we were coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like if if it was you and your one or two close friends one-on-one, you were always hanging out and probably asleep there half the time.
We had one at a friend of mine's house where they pulled out the Ouija board late at night, and we freaked ourselves out so badly that I think there were 6 of us there. We all sort of Tetrised ourselves under the coffee table because it seemed like it was a good idea to be hiding but also together.
Yeah,
and our teenage brains decided that was the safe place. So.
Okay.
Tiny square of 6 teenagers.
And then by the 90s, we've got movies like The Craft, where slumber parties are places where you do these scary things and rituals and things happen, So then you've got like more of your slumber party games becoming a staple. I mean, I remember doing Bloody Mary in elementary school in the school bathroom.
And there's also a little element of like, oh, naughty, so it's just that much more desirable.
In Japanese culture, PJ parties are known for like being, your schoolgirl friends having your festival or birthday or whatever sleepover.
Yeah, and you want to show off your cute PJs. No, that tracks.
Everything that comes out of there is so cute. Sometimes I get these videos on my page where like every single appliance in their house is pink and tiny and collapsible, and it's so amazing. All right, so let's talk about some games. Have you played Bloody Mary?
Yes, but actually not until college. Bloody Mary specifically freaked me out because Mary the First was a freaky individual. I think that's a specific fear.
I gotcha. So I don't believe in these things, so they never work for me. Okay.
Belief is the key element.
And in some of
That's why they feel real.
And some of these things I looked up, I mean, of course, I'm looking these up, reading like sources off Wikipedia, but a lot of it's like, do not try this at home. This is just for fun.
I'm not
Don't try it.
advocating. I don't want you to accidentally summon Satan. Oh my gosh. So I've been collecting the print copies of my very favorite webcomic, which is called Sluggy Freelance. They're a little bit difficult to find. All of his comics are on his website. You know me, I want analog.
Yes.
And so the publishing's like a little bit spotty, but he's been running that comic since 1997, and I've been
Wow.
reading it since 1997. But I just got the first book, and there is a really relevant. It's one of the very early comics that the main characters have decided to summon Satan for a case of beer.
Okay.
So they try to summon Satan for a case of beer, fail, summon a demon, accidentally summon him into the middle of the freeway, must reset, finally successfully summon a demon, and the price that the demon must pay to stay in our world is a case of beer and $20. And the demon only has like 1975. He's like, can I borrow a quarter? Like, nope. And that's how they get out of it.
Nice.
So, sorry. Relevant, I derail.
So the way we played it when I was in elementary school, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want this chant in your space, you would turn off all the lights, splash some water on the mirror, and then say Bloody Mary 3 times. And then she was supposed to appear behind you. At that point in time, I'm not really sure what I believed was supposed to happen if she appeared.
I don't think there was any consistent story about what was supposed to happen if she appeared, just bad things.
Yeah. The one that most people know basically just comes from folklore and things that have evolved over time. Most of these actually came from that.
Mm-hmm.
There were superstitions about mirrors being like portals to the spirit world, a place that could trap your soul.
Well, and mirrors are very rare things for a lot of history. I mean, glass mirrors especially, I can see why those seemed like absolute magic after centuries of very highly polished bronze.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell that's a reflection, not another you.
Yeah. In earlier versions, like 18th, 19th centuries, girls were still doing this. I'm sure the guys were out there doing it too. But one of the things they could do, it was more of like a divination than a ghost story though.
Mm-hmm.
They would walk up the stairs backwards at night, holding both a candle and a mirror. And the reflection would either show the face of their future husband or a skull if they were destined to die before getting married.
Well, if you're walking backwards with your hands full up a flight of stairs, I can see that being a 50-50 proposition.
You better believe it.
That's so interesting, though. I think it's a 16th century practice that's also divination that I was reading about. There's a nifty book called Cunning Folk by Tabitha Stanmore that kind of has like a lot of really neat resources on folklore and superstition. So she described a court case in which a gentleman had been hired to knife the bread. I think it's bread knives. It's bread and knives. You take a loaf of bread and you put 4 knives in at the cardinal points, north, south, east, west. And then you spin the bread and interpret how it lands, basically. Okay. And so we know about this practice because it was ubiquitous enough to be accepted as a legal case when the guy didn't get the answer that he wanted from the spinning of the knife bread and sued his magical practitioner.
Dang. Can't do people any favors.
No.
Wow. But imagine wasting a good loaf of bread like that.
I know, honestly.
Are you allowed to eat afterwards? Is that considered like food sacrificed to idols?
Right. Is that going to be bad luck forever? Don't steal food off altars. It's just not polite.
So Bloody Mary probably refers to Mary the First of England.
That was always my assumption.
Yeah. She was around from 1516 to 1558.
So she was the oldest daughter of Henry VIII, and she did not accede to the throne until his only son, Edward, had passed. Mm-hmm. The whole 9 days queen, poor Jane Grey thing, and then Mary the First of England. So she objectively had a really terrible time a lot of the time, and believed that it was her mission to bring England back into the fold of the Catholic Church. So that's where she got the moniker Bloody Mary, because she murdered a whole lot of people.
Hundreds of Protestants. Martyred, yeah.
Murdered. Sorry, how do you pronounce that? Murdered, sorry.
But yeah, her infamous reign of bloodshed influenced that a lot. And so maybe that's why it's called that, maybe not. But there is something called the Troxler effect. And staring into a mirror in dim light can cause your brain to basically like misread your reflection.
I used to sit with the medicine cabinet in my parents' bathroom that was closest to my parents' room,
Yeah.
and it had the little triptych wings,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
would stick my head in it, and like,
Absolutely.
and it looked like those scenes in Wizard of Oz,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I find that so interesting. Your
Mhm.
brain will like fade or distort features.
Mhm.
That's why we all, when we look in the mirror, we're kind of our own worst enemies.
Yeah, no, what you see looking back at you is not the you that looked in the first place.
No. So, another popular game. Did you ever play this one? Light as a feather, stiff as a board?
Yes, although it never worked.
Right. I don't recall ever having it work. So, to play that game, you've got to have one person lie down, like flat on their back, and then the rest of the group is going to try to levitate them with 2 fingers. Usually, some people are like, oh, you put like both your index fingers in your area, or some people are like, no, you put your first finger and your middle finger under the shoulder, the knees, the legs, the feet, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you chant light as a feather, stiff as a board, and then eventually you'll be able to like lightly lift this person into the air.
It's supposed to alter your perception enough that that person no longer feels heavy.
Yeah. It reminds me of the pallbearers at a funeral.
Yeah, sharing the load seems reasonable. With one finger on each hand, possibly not.
Right? So I was playing that game one time at my great aunt's house. I just remember being outside in the front yard. My cousin Sarah was the one laying down, and all of us are like, chanting and trying to lift her. Spoiler, we did not lift her. And she was so great. She would always like really play into everything.
Mm-hmm.
For about 20 minutes, she goes around like pretending she was possessed. I just realized her mom would not love to hear this.
Oh,
Do we have any listeners in Florida? We haven't had any. We're good. We can keep. I mean, also, we're totally grown-ups now, so it's fine. But like at Halloween time, they were the ones who were dressed like a crayon or an angel most of the time, But yeah, that was fun. But this game goes back quite a while, and the earliest version was recorded in 17th century England.
Ah, no kidding.
Yeah, this guy named Samuel Pepys.
So I've said that for years and had an unfortunate reckoning. It's
I knew you would know
technically
this.
pronounced peeps. I know. I think
you
it's
guys,
dumb too.
it's spelled Pepys.
Pepys, and you know why that's even funnier to me is because probably one of my favorite stories of his was of some noble lady whizzing in a fireplace at a fancy party, and how that was, sort of a little gauche, not, oh my God, what are you doing? So
I didn't really look up what he did for a living. I found famous diarist.
I was about to say those exact words. That literally was his profession. He was like he was the McAllister of his day. He just didn't get kicked quite so hard to the curb.
Okay. Well, in 1665, he wrote about young people trying a levitation ritual after a plague victim's death, and they would use the phrase, "He is light as a feather, he is stiff as a stick."
Well, see, the alliteration missing. That's why it never worked for us.
Lay down right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Loose in translation.
And so, of course, this spread is like a fortune-telling activity, although I don't know what kind of fortune you're going to be telling. Or, like seance. Do you guys hear that?
Oh my gosh, I hope that recorded.
I hope that recorded too. That was thunder outside.
Ooh.
Side note, if you don't know what a desert gully washer...
Gully what? Okay, nobody says that.
My grandma did.
Okay, all right.
My grandma's from Tennessee.
That's fair.
If you don't know what a desert gully washer is, I thought everyone did. One time my brother was dating this girl from Seattle, or like right outside Seattle, and it was the summer, and we were all like chilling on my mom's porch. He was still in high school. And she was down visiting like with her family for the weekend, and it became a storm like this with like the crazy loud thunder and the rain is coming down like bucket, and she got so freaked out by the thunder she was like running around screaming.
It is impressive if you're not used to it, but
Here's me. I'm like, girlfriend, are you okay? You're from a rainy state. And she was like, it does not rain like this.
We don't get a lot of rain, but when it does rain, it rains.
Yeah. When it rains, it comes down. It causes problems. Dirt is swept away. The arroyos flood. Sirens go off. the whole 9 yards.
Almost every time somebody gets stranded somewhere in our neighborhood and has to huddle up.
Yep. Yep. So if you didn't hear that, now you know. Anywho, all right. So some people say that this works because of physics.
Yeah, no, but it's a good answer.
Right. So let's say you have 6 people, 3 on each side. So you've got shoulders people, hips people, and feet people, okay? Or ankle people. You all try to lift someone with 1 or 2 fingers. You're not going to. Supposedly, the chanting and the rhythm, that kind of like maximizes your chances of everyone lifting together and therefore it becoming easier.
Again, I can see the argument, but
If
physically
you have
speaking.
ever had success doing this,
Oh, I want to know.
I need to know immediately. And of course, movies like The Craft, they use light as a feather, stiff as a board, and a Ouija board. People
Classic.
have really mixed opinions.
Classic. And I actually don't know the origin of the Ouija board. I know that it was like kind of considered a little bit old-timey, but enough old-timey that it was just more legit feeling, even though it was definitely still published by, I think, the same guys that make Monopoly.
This might not be their origin, but in the like 1840s and 50s, the spiritualism craze,
The Fox Sisters.
the tapping,
Yes.
that was how they communicated, right? Or spirit rapping, popular among people grieving lost loved ones and scammers trying to make a buck off of grieving people.
There was an explosion of alternative religions happening at the same time as the spiritualist movement. There was a lot of con men involved, but I think there were really just as many people that truly believed what they were doing.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that the Fox sisters, when they did get outed for their scammery, the way that they were simulating a ghost of a loved one rapping on the table was one of them was really good at cracking her toes.
Wow.
Yeah, so natural talent, I guess. You can't knock it.
I mean, how else are you going to monetize toe cracking?
Right.
So by the 1880s, people were like, hey, look at my talking board. And it would basically be a flat board with letters and numbers and then some sort of pointer to spell things out. And they were seen as much quicker and easier than having to have a medium interpret your knocks and tappings for you.
I think it was a lucky household that had a mom that was good at kind of nudging the pointer.
Yes. By 1890, these 2 dudes, Elijah Bond and Charles Kennard, filed a patent for what we now would call the Ouija board. They marketed it both as a game and as a spiritual communications tool.
Whichever your pleasure. If you want to take it seriously, we've got you. If you want to, throw it out at parties, we've got you.
And they claimed that the name meant good luck in ancient Egyptian. Not true. And they also said it came to them in a session where the board spelled it out.
Oh, well, that's handy.
I know.
It named
right?
itself.
There's also another story that says one of the inventor's family members had a locket on it with oui, yes in French, and ja, which is yes in German. Yes, yes.
Okay. I would also buy that.
Yeah, either way. After they filed the patent, the Kennard Novelty Company, later known as the Fold Company, starts mass producing the Ouija boards, and they become a parlor game sold alongside your chess and your checkers. At that time, a lot of people really wanted to communicate with the spirits of their lost loved ones. So then again, in World War I and the Great Depression, sales of Ouija boards spike.
That makes so much sense.
Right.
Wow.
I would just like to let y'all know, if you don't want to buy a Ouija board, don't worry. We've got that covered in a bit. The Ouija board wasn't really even considered like evil by like mainstream people until the Exorcist movie in 1973, where a Ouija board scene suggests this is how you invite demonic possession.
And then, of course, it's not quite to satanic panic at that point, but it's not that far away.
Not far at all. The 80s were around the corner. And then after that, the Ouija board, of course, is like horror movies, occults, urban legends, and is still sold today by Hasbro. Is that the same company?
I'm pretty sure.
It still is used in paranormal communities as a communicator. And the psychology behind it is the ideomotor effect, which is like tiny unconscious muscle movements that make the planchette move.
And I think that's probably the most reasonable case for quote unquote how it works is
Yeah.
if you're genuinely not in the room with somebody that's like trying to spell something out to be funny or make it look like it's working or whatever, then I think any result that you're getting is a matter of subconscious processing, kind of in the same way that I believe dreams are subconscious processing.
Yeah. So I know people have very different feelings on Ouija boards, and I've lived in the deep South where religion is, very big and important to people, and some of those include like not messing with anything that could potentially do it, and that I respect and understand that. And then out here, some cultures and communities also do not approve. So,
We're strictly interested observers. We're not involved.
from the time my oldest niece has like been able to talk, she's had an obsession with like the macabre, and it's hilarious. Like she snuck watched it at a very young age. I know.
Oh, tiny gothic kids. They exist.
Yes. And she wanted a Ouija board for a long time. I remember her and her little sister were with me. I was at my grandparents' house. I don't remember if it was my grandma or grandpa. One of them was dying. They're on hospice. The family's gathered. And the kids, were getting restless. So I found my daughter's Ouija board, brought it across the street, and we played with it, and we called for Pennywise, the clown from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is so cute and wholesome. Guys, if you don't think it's cute and wholesome, please don't come for me, okay? I respect your beliefs.
I could see how you went into it with that idea, but no.
So one of our student employees at the time, like her background and her personal community is just a little different than mine. And she was horrified. So a similar game is Charlie Charlie. This goes by a lot of different names in other countries. You don't need a Ouija board. You need a piece of paper and some pencils, basically. So you would write like yes or no, and then you can either set up a single pencil to move, or you can set up two pencils, one on top of the other, kind of like a cross, and you expect the top one to move to yes or no.
Oh, interesting. I've never experienced that one.
This is definitely a more modern version. Charlie Charlie was something that went viral on 2015. And then you would say like, Charlie Charlie, are you there? And and then ask it questions.
Rhyming is always where magic begins.
Oh, yeah.
Tried and true.
So, excuse my mispronunciations, but like in Spanish speaking countries, there was already a schoolyard game called like basically the pencil game. So, Juego de la lapicera. Anyways, it means game of the pencil if you translate it directly to English. Yeah, it basically works the same way. And then you can ask it questions about your future self. And, they have to be yes or no. If you set up the cross, the top pencil has to be spinning.
Man, we played MASH.
I mean, same, we did too. But also, I mean, if you think you've got way back, you've got like pendulums. Yes or no?
Yeah, they're all very similar divination techniques, and it's all very deeply rooted.
Speaking of divination, I didn't know this one had a name. Bibliomancy.
Yes. Oh my goodness, bibliomancy.
So that would be randomly opening a book, often the Bible, to get your answer. Pendulums also, people will use them when you're pregnant to tell you if you're having a boy or a girl.
I've heard of that.
I was told both things many a times. And the Charlie Charlie version or the pencil game version is obviously more popular with kids. You need very little things. And again, physics kind of help with this one. If your top pencil is balanced so delicately, a deep breath is going to spin it,
Right, yeah. It's that chaos theory scene in Jurassic Park where the drop of water is going to fall one way or the other. It's just,
Exactly. There's a lot of other mirror rituals like Bloody Mary. So baby blue or blue baby is kind of a similar thing. I don't know if you have to splash water on the mirror, but it doesn't hurt to try. And then you say blue baby 3 times while you're pretending to rock a baby, and then you're supposed to be able to feel the baby get heavier in your arms.
I feel like that one is probably, for the older teenager sleepover set. I could see that being the like, hee creepy moment.
Right? I was thinking it was teaching them not to have kids. Just kidding. And then, of course, there's a million backstories for it. A mom who lost her child, that kind of thing.
Well, because it's only an interesting activity for everybody if somebody knew the story and told it really well.
Exactly.
That's what brings up all the feelings that make it feel creepy and real.
And because it's an urban legend, you can make it whatever you want. Right. So our blue baby, I guess, is probably La Arona.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
talked about her a Halloween or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the mirror with these, of course, the mirror, looking in the mirror, dim lighting,
Mm-hmm.
gonna start seeing things, which is really fun. And you've got a chance to summon. I love these. With some of the games, and again, it can all be different, but there's like a, if you lose, something bad happens, right?
See, I feel like the consequence is only part of the story half the time.
Right. Because, like we said earlier, I don't know what happens when you see Bloody Mary in the mirror in real life. I know what happens in Supernatural. That's in the first season. There's like a haunted mirror in an antique store. So I
I'm
know
actually
that one.
super happy that they did Bloody Mary right out the gate.
Oh, absolutely. First episode, Women in White.
Nice.
Love me a good Woman in White story. So in Baby Blue, if you fail to get rid of the infant, you get attacked. How do you get rid of?
Get rid of? No, I need more specific and
I know.
well-defined parameters here.
So as you keep chanting Blue Baby and you see, it's getting heavier as you pretend to rock it, if you see someone in the mirror, so Bloody Mary or whoever this baby's mom is, you need to get rid of the baby. So like, handing it back into the mirror really quickly. Otherwise, you're haunted and cursed forever.
Oh, sure. Interact with the ghost in the mirror. That's terrible advice.
You summoned it.
Now you're stuck with it.
So the Blue Baby one, that became popular again in the early 2000s with like the creepypasta and all that stuff. Yeah. So the baby in the arms part does kind of make that a little different because it gives you like a tactile thing to hold on to. And some people are like, oh, this is Bloody Mary's baby. Haha.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's a subset of Bloody Mary.
And then there's the Candyman, similar. So the Candyman, we know, well, I know, and I don't even think I've watched it ever, don't judge me,
I don't think I do.
is a movie from the 80s that was based on Clive Barker's short story, The Forbidden.
Oh, I definitely haven't seen that. I can almost guarantee that my husband has because he's a reasonably large Clive Barker fan.
Okay.
Clive Barker is a talented and very creative individual.
So in that movie, Candyman, you say Candyman 5 times in front of a mirror and he appears, but he's like a hook-handed killer. Okay.
Okay, and that's mixing in a little bit of the ghost stories
Exactly.
there.
So shout out to Yvonne in elementary school. Yvonne, so that movie came out in 89, so I was 8 years old. So Yvonne was like the oops baby, the menopause baby or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So all of her siblings were like way older.
Yeah.
So when Bon Jovi went on tour, Yvonne's older siblings brought her back a concert tour shirt and she wore it to school and we were all so jealous. And I went home and I listened to my mom's alarm clock radio until I heard Living on a Prayer. And I still love that song today. But Yvonne also got to see the Candyman because one of her older siblings let her. So she came to school and told us all about it.
Ah, man. Elementary school solidarity. Whoever got permission to see the movie describes it very well to everyone else.
So the character, it's based on like the vengeful spirit kind of thing. Folklore, the chanting. In Japan, they have one called Hanako-san, which is where you say that name, I guess, to summon the spirit in the school bathroom.
Same mirror game.
Yeah, why is the school bathroom so great?
One of the few places you have privacy.
That's true. The hook-handed killer, like the Candyman, like the guy who sneaks up on the necking couples in movies from the 90s.
Which was a not so subtle cautionary tale of don't go necking in cars or the hook hand man will get you.
Yes, ma'am. In the Clive Barker film, it's got a lot of racism and historical injustices tied into it. That's the freaking scariest kind of horror movie. All right, so we're going to move on to some like more modern games. Okay. This one is called the Midnight Game, and it started appearing in the like 2000s on creepypasta communities. Presented as a pagan ritual with zero evidence, but that's okay. That makes it more fun.
Pagan ritual.
So at midnight, you write your name on a paper, prick your finger, light a candle, and then you invite the Midnight Man into your house. And then you have to hide until 3:33 a.m. without letting your candle go out. So you're writing your name with the blood from your pricked finger on the paper.
Okay.
Yeah. You light the candle, say your name, and then at exactly midnight, knock on a door 22 times. The last knock has to be right at 12 midnight. Open the door, blow out your candle, and that invites the Midnight Man. Immediately relight your candle, walk around the house. Do not stay in one place. And if your candle goes out, it's because you've been caught and you're marked.
That just seems like playing Supernatural Chicken.
The ritual ends at 3:33 a.m., and then you have to do a cleanup ritual to banish him.
Then why did you start it in the first place? I mean, did just somebody want to film a horror movie and
Right?
you summon it? Like, that seems like there's no point.
I know. I'm not saying I wouldn't try it, though.
No. I'm just saying, like, if it worked, that would be the dumbest summoning ever.
Okay, this is one I had not heard of, and I really don't like this one. No, ma'am. One man hide and seek. It's a solo game. You hide a stuffed animal with rice and a piece of your hair or a nail, something with your DNA, and then you stab it with scissors so that its spirit can hunt you back.
Why
No.
would you do that?
I'm not doing it. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to share because this one's interesting. I believe that the ladies on the Morbid podcast have a whole episode about weird, scary things, and they cover the elevator game, which is an elevator ride in a set sequence of floors to put you into a different dimension. And this reminds me of the case of Elisa Lam. I believe they also said this in Morbid, which is why I'm bringing it up. But if you don't know what that is, it was in 2013, February 19th, 2013. The body of a Canadian tourist named Elisa Lam was recovered from a large water cistern atop of what's now called the Stay on Main Hotel. It used to be the Cecil Hotel.
I heard about that.
The reason that reminds me of her is because some of the footage that's out there online is her in an elevator and she's behaving oddly. So basically, in the elevator game, if you follow the rules exactly right, you're supposed to go to this other world where it's like an empty, eerie version of the building you're in, but no one else is present. And if you break any of the rules or panic, the entity controlling the elevator might trap you or kill you.
And I guess that answers my question before, why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's about, running up to the thing that you're most afraid of and going, haha, I've touched it.
Well, yeah, plus this gave all budding YouTubers a chance to make a video called I Survived the Elevator Game.
Right? You're a little bit controversial now.
The earliest talks about this have been found online in the earlier 2000s in Korean chat rooms and forums. It's a solo ritual. And again, do not attempt this at home. Only one person at a time. You need to find an empty building. I mean, if you have your own apartment, it's the middle of the night and nobody's going to get mad at you for playing with the elevator, maybe there, I don't know.
I wouldn't necessarily try it in an apartment building.
I wouldn't try it in an empty building, to be honest. But you need at least 10 floors, and then you enter the elevator alone and you follow a specific floor sequence. I don't know what the floor sequence is.
And to be honest, I'm okay with that.
Right, so let's just say it's like 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, 1, or whatever. You can never speak to anyone in the elevator. If an extra person shows up in the elevator when you're doing this and they're human, abort game immediately. If they're not human, do not talk to them. When you reach the special floor where you supposedly enter this other dimension, the only way you can get back is to reverse the floor sequence. So this isn't really a sleepover game unless you live in a penthouse.
Yeah, right. Those are rich folk sleepover games.
And of course, this one became fun because everybody talked about it online. People made videos of themselves trying it, and then they would be like, oh no, I'm definitely in like a scary place and no one's around.
I mean, gone are the days when you could roll up to your best friend's slumber party and have her ultimately weirder and somehow cooler feeling friend say that she's tried this thing, and you have to pretend that oh yeah, I've totally done that. I've played that before. Actually, I beat the whole Bloody Mary game. What did you do?
I'm not scared.
You don't have to front that anymore, and honestly, you can't because your YouTube channel is going to tell on you.
Do you remember when we walked back to my house and my kid had her friends over and they were in the basement? So there was like a little window in the basement that looked out into the backyard, but it was like a very wide windowsill.
Yeah.
And Rose starts knocking on the window. So many screams.
It's like cop knock, but at the basement window.
I knew it. My daughter's always like, I almost called the cops on you. Well, that would have been fine. It was funny.
I'm sorry, I'm just that sort of auntie.
So, have you ever played any of these games? If so, did anything interesting happen? I want y'all to tell us that.
And do you miss slumber parties? Because I do.
I do like my bed. I miss them in the way that they're fond memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you always remember the good parts. Well, thank you for hanging out with us and listening to this entree into the spooky season. I absolutely believe there's going to be more spooky episodes coming.
Yes, it's almost fall. Bye. Give us a like and follow.
And have a great week.